tuning in to the latest episode of Point of View. Happy Tuesday. As you guys can see, Junie B is out for the day, but we have the beautiful Ree covering for her today. Yes, welcome back. We're so excited to have you.
I'm so happy to be back.
You look so good, girl. Green is your color. Thank you. Oh my gosh. No, so the last time you were here, we had like a really good conversation.
Yeah.
So like, let's do it again, okay?
Let's do it.
Well, you guys, so DC police have arrested 2 young women for the murder of their sugar daddy. Apparently, these girls, sorry, this is a little disturbing, they cut off his thumb so they could still have access to his bank statements and his finances, pretty much. My thing is like, what is going on in this world? Like, that is insane. Like, who raised these people? That is awful to do to someone.
It seemed like nobody raised them.
Yeah, or maybe they were raised by baboons or something.
Yeah,
like that's
what?
honestly awful. Like, honestly, prayers go out to that man because that's honestly the worst thing ever. But like, what is going on? Like, it's like people are doing things for money, just for money. Like, you know, like, and it's just like a temporary thing that's going to eventually run out. But you just took the life of someone else for what? You know, like, what's the point?
No, for real. I was reading the story, and you know, the 2 young ladies went back to his apartment numerous times after they killed him. At some point, they took his thumb, which, you know, I guess the police report is saying that, you know, it was cut off very soon after he died, and they racked up $1,600 in Cash App charges, and then, you know, they and other people were going back and forth to his apartment before the body was discovered to get his, you know, goods and, you know, expensive items, things that he had. But just to think that people have such a low respect for human life that you would kill someone who's given you all of these things, you know, already for $1,600 on Cash App and some designer goods, like,
That's
But my thing is, he was their sugar daddy. You know what I mean? Like, he was already giving to them. You can't just... you don't get the sugar daddy title with just like, you know, giving regular stuff. You know, like that means
some people would give a sugar daddy titles to men who just buy lunch. So
that ain't enough sugar, baby. And it's not enough to give you daddy neither. Lunch.
they probably didn't want to give no more sugar.
It's just crazy for $1,600, and then they said that more came and helped out. So evidently, more of y'all have to split that $1,600,
Right?
And you'll take the
and
life.
it's 2 of them.
That's
$800.
that's not even enough for your bed.
That's not even enough when they're bringing more people on. Imagine the more people that have to come and get some of the money. This man's whole life is wiped out, and you stabbed me
for about $200
and cut my thumb off.
Like, facts. Like, you know.
But the thought process
of that.
Oh, yeah, we got to get in his account. Just cut his thumb off.
Yeah.
Like, you know how sinister of a person you have to be to literally take something, flesh, you know what I mean? Like, of a body or even an animal, whatever, and like literally saw it off of them. You have to go through the bone.
Yeah,
like, you know how evil you have to be?
And to grab it. And to put it on the phone.
To carry it around. Like, honestly, like, the dark hole that is in your freaking heart, like, Lord, I hope, you know, whoever did that, all of them, I don't know.
And then imagine for the sugar daddy's family.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder, was he, like, married or something? Because that's, like, even worse.
No.
Yeah.
But it's just, like, if you were married and then you were cheating, that's just for another day. But it's just crazy, like, no, I can't imagine. I can't imagine that at all.
I can't imagine it either.
But really... That's a super sad situation. But at the end of the day, it's all about the character of the woman. Women nowadays, they have no respect for, yes, human life, but also men and relationships and what it takes to be a provider. And honestly, it's extremely irritating to me as I pride myself in being a good woman who respects a man, respects the role of a man and what he's supposed to provide for a family. That now that these guys, good men, are going through meeting these kind of girls, and then they're thinking all women they come to the conclusion that all women are just here for monetary things or items and stuff like
Right.
that, when that's not the case.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that I still feel that, but I feel like in this case, because he was labeled as their sugar daddy, I think he sought after girls that were more so looking for that or that kind of exchange for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if that's what you want, no judgment to you. There are genuinely people out there who thrive off of taking care of people, and they, you know, kind of want something in return. So if that's what he wanted, you know, that's what it is. But nonetheless, like just this scamming culture, like all together. Listen, we live in Florida, so
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
you know, the scamming culture altogether, it's so crazy, like, you know, how far people will go just to get a couple of dollars. Shoot, right before we called action, Scam Likely was calling my phone. Like,
Right.
I don't understand,
They
like,
scamming in all aspects.
like literally, they be down bad, but to murder someone just to get
Yeah.
some money, it's insane. But I've heard so many stories, people posing as like doctors or people like lying to people throughout a whole marriage just to get some money. Like, you
Right.
know, people just faking all sorts of things, hurting other people just to get to pay a car note for a little
Yeah.
bit or.
But
Oh
then
my
guess
God.
what? If you get away for a little bit, you're not gonna get away from it forever.
Yeah.
The one
Right.
thing about it, the government gonna track their money,
Yeah, that's
and they
very
know
true.
they know everything.
And then you're sitting in jail for $1,600.
For $1,600.
And your bail is more than $1,600. So
Like,
you can't even
honestly.
post bail for yourself with the money you
My
stole.
point.
Yeah, I remember seeing a story a couple weeks ago about these two Brazilian ladies. They were a little bit like older, but I guess, you know, they were still younger than their quote unquote sugar daddies, but they were running like some type of scheme where they had like defrauded a few guys out of like millions of dollars.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Hustlers.
right, exactly. When I heard their story, I low key felt like, is it really fraud? You know, like, you know, should they really be in jail for this? You know, because, you know, these men are soliciting them on these pretenses of getting whatever it is that, you know,
Right.
they've gotten. And now that you realize, hey, I woke up and I gave this lady all of my money.
Yeah.
Now it's a crime when you have nothing else to give. And now you have nothing else to get because she's not giving you anything else and you
Exactly.
can't get it. So that situation is a little bit different. But, you know, I also feel like it's hard because yes, people can live their lives on whatever terms that they feel like, but it's so common. I remember my dad was in a situation like this and still, you know, low key is in a way. As you get older and you have, you know, this need to feel young or to, you know, feel accepted and you're seeking out, you know, younger women. Like, you know, my dad is probably about, I think he's about 63. He doesn't have a limit any longer of how young he will date. Like legit, you can be like 18 and turn 18 yesterday. Like once you turn 18, you're grown.
Oh my
and
gosh.
to me, it is so disheartening.
Yeah.
But it, you know, also you know that these people, anyone that would, you know, deal with someone on with that kind of age gap, to me, I feel like there's some type of deficit. There's some type of ulterior motive.
Yeah,
like, I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Or just a lack in their life. Because I do
Yeah.
have an uncle like that, and he's dating a girl that's younger than his daughter.
Yeah.
And his daughter is 21.
Yeah.
You know? And now you're bringing this girl into your family, taking care of her, and you're not even necessarily taking care of your own kids, who is a daughter. So now it puts this weird family dynamic of how are you going to spend money on this girl?
Yeah.
Because is she really doing anything for you? What can an 18, 20-year-old really do for a 50-year-old man?
Right.
Yeah.
Really? Like, what can she do for you?
And then a lot of young women, when they go with these older men,
Yeah.
some of them lack like they don't have a father or whatever. So then they get these men, and the men treat them good. They buy them whatever. They feel secure. So really, they think that they're in love, but it's really because they didn't have a father.
It's a
Yeah.
level. It's
It's a security.
It's
to them,
security.
to them.
Exactly.
And then it's also just a level of control.
Yeah.
Because they don't know better.
They don't know better.
In a sense. And he's grooming her to be, for him to be her world.
Yeah.
You know, so he could do whatever he wants. He's providing everything. And then sometimes a lot of these foreign women come to the States and find these older men that will take care of them and also be able to send money back to their family.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's really a
I
trick.
honestly think it really boils down to control and that like yearn for something more youthful. You know, I don't know where it stems from, but you know, there's that.
So
But
do y'all think that it can never be like true love, as in like an older person can't really like a younger person or love a younger person for real.
I don't think that it's impossible that it could be, a real love situation. The issue that comes into play here is the same thing that, happened with my dad. You get with someone that is so younger, and as we see in this case with these two young women that killed this elderly guy, they still have time to do whatever they want to you and live the rest of their life. You're
Right.
aging out, so your time clock is ticking on top of that, but then you don't have time to make it back up. Whereas my dad, he was dating a girl so young. She said that it was a domestic violence situation. She actually tried to kill him, and because he did not retaliate and didn't want to stay with her, she went down to the police station, changed her whole story. He ended up getting sentenced to 43 years in prison.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, thank
my
God,
God.
with the grace of God, he was able to get out on a sentence reduction,
Right.
because the new judge said that there was no way they could have found him guilty. So then he got out after 11 years, but that was 11 years of our life.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
you
saying?
took away.
Not
That
only
was
his
taken
life, but
away.
our life, exactly. And people don't understand that. It's like, you're dating these young girls. They're 19 and 22. Even if they get 20 years, they get out, they're 40, they can still live their life. This
Yeah.
man's life is over. And so even with my dad wanting to date younger women now, I'm sorry I'm rambling, I hope my dad is watching this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
Yeah.
be done.
Honestly, I don't think they're gonna get 20, 30 years.
Maybe
I feel
life.
like they might get life. Absolutely, I think
For the
this
thumb.
is
It's a
considered.
thumb.
Yeah, it was a thumb, and on top of that, it kind of seems a little premeditated. I don't think this is a second degree thing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is first degree.
that's
This is
the first.
premeditated
Y'all
and
planned that.
executed. You walked around with a thumb in your
And y'all went
purse.
back for
Honestly.
days.
And y'all went back multiple
4
times and
days.
saw this man's body multiple times. No.
Yeah,
You're
it's
going to jail.
honestly absolutely disgusting, and honestly, our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of this man, and hopefully justice is served. But you guys, we do have to take a short break. We have so much more discussion after the commercial break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching POV. Welcome back, and if you're just now tuning in, you're watching POV. So we want to send a huge congratulations to college coach Deion Sanders' daughter, Deandra Sanders, on her pregnancy proposal to R&B singer Jacquees. Just a few months ago, Deandra straight up told Jacquees that their baby will not have his last name because they are not married. So kudos to Deandra for standing her ground, but believe Jacquees proposed out of guilt. But many believe that Jacquees proposed out of guilt, wanting their child to have his last name. Honestly, what was his last name again? Because it was like something.
Broadnax.
Now, the situations like these are way more common than you would think. And, how do you guys feel about proposals during a woman's pregnancy?
I'll start. She did the right thing, period. You did that, girl.
I agree.
And you made that man do the right thing. Because just because you think that, oh, I'm having your child, I am bound to you for life. That's not how that go.
Yeah.
A marriage bounds you for life.
Yeah.
You just
And still not then, but yeah.
and still not then, but you know what I'm saying? They're going to go through the right process if they decide to leave. She did the right thing. I stand 10 toes down behind her for that.
Yeah.
And she did. And she got exactly what she deserved and what she needed. Sometimes some men need that push because they might not get that push from their family, their mom, their dad. Sometimes you have to say, hey, this is my standard.
Yeah.
And stand 10 toes down and forget whoever don't like it and tough.
Look, I ain't pushing no man. I've done that before. Oh my goodness. Like, I've done that before, and I don't have any more left in me to give.
To
to
push.
push.
It's not necessarily-
I can't push no more. I'm tired, coach.
No, just a little
But
Nudge,
sometimes-
absolutely not. I feel like, from the beginning, you should let your standards be known. This is how I feel like it should be. And if that man isn't catching it, like, you know what I mean? Like, then I just feel like it wasn't meant to be. I genuinely feel like this was a shut-up ring. I think this was a shut-up ring. I think that they're going to be engaged for probably multiple years, because she had to give him that nudge, you know what I mean? I feel like a nudge shouldn't have happened. That's just my opinion on that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't think so. Jacquees doesn't give like he's an R&B artist, you know what I mean? Sometimes
So was Neo.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, thank you.
I'm done. So how do you feel about it, Reese?
I feel like I feel multiple ways about it. Because I do feel like, okay, maybe he could have feel intimidated about the last name, period, because Sanders is a huge name.
Yeah.
So I feel like he could have felt intimidated, like, no, my baby not, especially if it's a boy. So you know how people is with a boy, so you're probably like, no, my baby getting my last name. And then, okay, yeah, he proposed, but that don't mean that you married me.
Right.
So it's like, I can still give my baby this last name because we're not married. We're just engaged.
Yeah.
I said I have to be married. I didn't say I have to be engaged.
Right.
So it's like,
They
you
could
better,
go- Nah.
you better step it up before this baby be born.
That would be scary because then you don't want to. She doesn't give courthouse wedding.
Yeah, she don't
Period.
give courthouse.
At
she
all.
don't.
She don't. She's a princess.
Yeah, I don't
Love
know.
a princess.
Love a
a princess.
Love a princess.
We want a smart princess though.
Right.
Facts.
So if she now, I would lean more towards it was a shut up ring if they go to the courthouse.
Yeah.
Now, if
No,
they're,
not necessarily, but
I think so. Me personally, reason being is because if you run straight to the courthouse, right, just
Yeah.
so that you're legally married,
Yeah.
that means the intent of doing the proposal in the first place was not genuine. Now, if they still plan the wedding, have the baby, and then still get married, I would then still be 10 toes down behind her as far as she set a standard and he needed to meet it and
Yeah.
he did what he was supposed to
Yeah.
do. And it is true love. That's possible, but it's also still possible that it is a shut up ring though. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah, I don't feel like it's a shut up ring, or hush ring in that sense. But I do feel like she, clearly stated what the standard was for her, and he has to rise to meet that standard. Now, I do not believe in begging a man to do anything, but a little gentle nudge, just letting them know, hey, what's going on?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. But she does seem genuinely happy. She was genuinely happy when she came out and announced that she was pregnant. Ideally, I'm guessing that it was the same when she found out that she was pregnant. But for me, I want to know, because his name is given a do Rodriguez, because that's his name, Rodriguez
Yes.
Broadnax. Does he think he's about to have a junior? Because at that point, I'm gonna have to stand 10 toes down that we are not married yet, baby, and this baby is not eligible to be Rodriguez Broadnax Jr.
Oh my goodness.
Why? Can we
That name is
Oh, that is an
leave that man name alone?
Rodriguez?
He was named after his mama.
No, absolutely not.
Sanders, DeAndre Sanders. Name him Sandra. Sanders.
I
No,
agree with
Sanders
that
is
for
a beautiful
sure.
name, and it's a powerful name.
Powerful name.
Very much so.
Yes.
And I think he didn't worry about his child's future.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Guys, you gotta make sure your child's name is like bully proof. You gotta protect them before they're born.
I don't know,
you know what
because let me tell you something, okay?
Uh-huh.
Because my fiance's name is Malik Senior,
Period.
Senior, right? And people always say Senior as in old people, baby. Don't even worry about it. That's how you spell it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I have a son, I'm gonna name him Malik Senior Jr.
That is so ghetto.
That is ghetto is crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like not for the junior thing either.
Me
so
either.
yeah, not really. I feel like your child should have their own identity rather than their father's identity.
Oh, own
That's my
identity.
opinion.
But we
Yes.
naming kids with both parents' names?
I'm not doing that either. Like, you know, you did that.
And I actually did. M-A-L from Malik, I-A-H from me, Malia,
goodness.
okay?
I'm not gonna lie.
And if I have a
I'm
son,
going-
Jalik.
Jalik is crazy.
I would name my baby like after my child's father. I would.
If you like
Oh,
his
that's
name.
cute.
yeah, or like mix it to have something to
Or
do
if
with
you like
it.
him.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
to keep that.
If I like
Louisiana
him.
for you. But this young lady, she is so close to her father. You can tell because
Yeah.
she did like take those ideals that her father kind of put onto her,
Mm-hmm.
and Deion Sanders is her father, and she stood 10 toes down,
Yeah.
and said, "Boy, listen."
And if you are happy, DeAndre, I love that for you because
Yeah.
you're a princess and you deserve everything that your heart desires. So
Yeah.
I wish you the best if you're happy for real.
But what I don't like is the people coming after her and saying, "Oh, you have such a high standard just because you're pregnant, you need a ring." No, she has always had a father figure
Yeah.
in her life,
Correct.
and sometimes
The nerve of
it's-
people.
No, but that's what they saying.
Because we living in a baby mama culture.
Yeah, that's what we're
Yeah.
living in. Like, people don't care about marriage no more, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This one do. But it's like she's had a father figure. You know what I mean? There is a standard. You have to make an honest woman out of that man's child. That is
Right.
someone's daughter.
Correct.
Yeah.
So and they're having a little boy, but would you want your son to do somebody else's daughter like that?
Correct.
You have to think about, okay, I can't accept this from myself because I wouldn't want my daughter to accept that from anybody else.
Right.
And that's where I'm coming from when it comes to my life and my standard for myself, because I have a little girl.
Right.
So if mommy's not getting it, I can't expect that for her. But guess what? Because I'm going to make sure that she gets it, I'm going to
Right.
get it tenfold too.
Right.
I'm going to
Yeah.
make sure that's a requirement for me so that when I tell her,
Correct.
I don't want to tell her, do as I say and not as I do.
Yeah.
Right.
Do as I do and do it better.
Period.
For me.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and
I
I
agree.
also feel like, for Deandra, I really just hope that she has a, easy pregnancy where, just full of peace and support and love. But I feel like this is kind of like, a negative effect of like oversharing on social media, because maybe if she would have been able to keep her pregnancy to herself, then she could kind of get through without all of this backlash. So I'm hoping
Right.
that maybe she's not like overly reading the comments and, and just kind of just taking it easy breezy and peaceful so that she can have a
Yeah.
stress-free pregnancy.
Honestly, I do genuinely feel like if she never shared the standard that she had for Jacquees or this requirement, I don't think there would have been a lot of like chatter. I think everybody would have just looked at their pregnancy like, oh, okay,
No,
They got together last year, they're having a baby. Perfect. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, they're having a baby. But, now that she's come out and said, like, no, I told him, like, if you don't put a ring on this, then, yada, yada, yada. Now that she has the ring, people are like, I feel like that's a shut up ring or, whatever. So
I think she did it more for me personally. If I was to put that out there, it's to encourage other women that you don't got to be a baby mama.
Right.
It's okay to put a standard on these men. It's okay. You don't have to wait forever, because let me tell you something. There has to be a deadline in everything. You get a deadline in school, you get a deadline. There are deadlines
Yes.
in a job, everything. But why you must play with your life and your heart?
Oh, I absolutely agree. There should be a deadline when it comes to getting a ring.
But what's wrong with it being known?
Very true. Yeah.
And it's just
You're
so
right.
crazy because I haven't heard a woman say in a long time, like, oh, he's getting my name because when I'm married. I haven't heard that in a very long time.
Yeah, her dad went ahead and put that old school standard in there.
Right, yeah.
And I respect that. I stand on that, baby.
Right.
That's my story too.
That's a proud,
not with the new one, but with the original.
That son, his grandson is going to have a wonderful life because that standard that he put for his daughter,
Yeah.
I really feel like those are the kind of grandparents that we need.
Yes.
Grandparents that are going to be
Heavily
involved. Like my mom is, and Malik's mom is heavily
Mm-hmm.
involved in my child's life.
That's really
and
good.
that's good because Malik and I don't know everything.
Right.
Right.
And I don't want Malia to fail because we're ignorant to certain things.
Right.
You gotta listen to the people that's been here a little bit longer than
Yeah, I
us.
Yeah,
so agree with that.
I
That
agree.
honestly, and that is such a blessing within itself to be able to have or be raised by second generation. Honestly, like me, I wasn't like my grandparents. They were like super old. I only met one of my grandparents, and she unfortunately passed away. But when I hear stories of like people who still have their grandparents in their lives, I'm like, oh, that's so nice. My nephew has my mom, and and I'm just every time I see them interact, I'm like, wow, like
Yeah.
So I know this is like gonna be a good thing for Deandra and Deion Sanders for sure.
Yeah.
That baby gonna be blessed.
Blessed.
All kind of deals coming through. Here you go. Here you go.
That's what Jackie is saying.
Yes,
I
everything.
think what we can definitely take away from this, even on social media, that we need to live our lives according to, how it pulls on our heart, And so I do definitely commend Deandra for that. But just for everyone to, do what is right for you. We get so caught up sometimes in the comments and what everybody has to say about, what
Absolutely.
we are doing.
Right.
But, just be true to yourself. And that's exactly what she's doing here. So what everybody else got to say really don't even matter.
I
At
don't
all,
think she
you guys.
cares. She's grinning
Honestly.
from ear to ear with
She
that
is.
ring.
Bree,
Period.
it was
is.
so nice having you
Thank
here.
you.
You guys
Thank
catch
you.
us back here tomorrow here at Afro TV. Bye.